Hey everybody, it's Chris from Texas Toast Guitars, and today I'm going to show you how to go from this to this. So our friend Bart brought in this pickguard from an old Teisco that a friend of his has, and it's got a lot of sentimental value, and unfortunately the pickguard has started to break apart. So Bart stuck it back together with some tape and brought it over and asked us to make a new pick guard. And I love making pick guards, so I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to show you how I make a template from this pick guard and then make a brand new pick guard. This is the first time I've ever added audio commentary, and I apologize for the sound quality. It will be better next time. I'm using 3M foam tape like you can get at Home Depot. This is the only time that I like this double-sided tape. But I like it because it's thick and it offsets the pick guard from the template. I'm also doing this on the front so that I can utilize the hard edge of the pick guard on the bottom. You'll see it here in a second. It makes more sense once it's actually applied to the template, or to the MDF. This is 3/4 inch MDF. I put the pick guard on there, traced it out, drew the missing portions in, and just sort of trimmed it a little bit big. And after it's routed, then I'll go back with a oscillating spindle sander or a belt sander or something like that and clean up the missing portions. I like to use the tape all along the outside edge, it just for stability. Now you can sort of see how high the pickguard sits off the template, and that's important because there's a space between the bearing and the cutter, and you'll see here that the bearing's going to ride on that high portion of the pickguard, and what I'm doing here is I'm just cutting out the portions of the pickguard that are still good. I'm going to skip over the portions that are broken or missing. You'll see here in a second. And like I said, then we'll clean that up on a sander later. And I want everybody to know that I'm aware of where my hands are at all times, and even though it looks pretty scary and I'm going to do some stupid stuff later on in this video, I'm relatively sure that I'm being as safe as I possibly can. Also, I do have my safety goggles on. And this technique works just as well with a pickguard that's not broken. I've had a bunch of requests to show off how to make a template or how to make a pickguard from an existing pickguard, and you really can't do it unless you make a template. But this technique works really, really well. I've done it with a bunch of different pickguards, and I've done it with some broken ones before. And this is the perfect pickguard to show off how to do it, because this pickguard's wrecked. So the next step is drilling about 1 million holes. This pickguard has, I think, 6 different size holes, and what I'm doing is just drilling holes, and I'm going to have to flip this pickguard template over and do some stuff from the other side. And I also know that I'm probably missing some holes because they're covered with glue tape. So I want to have the holes that I'm drilling now as indicators for when I flip it over. Forgot to turn the vacuum off earlier. Can't figure out what size drill bit to use. Can't believe I didn't edit most of this out. So this guitar has top mount pickups, kind of gold foil top mount pickups, and that's why there's no pickup holes in it, but there's a bunch of holes for wiring and screws and things. I can tell, even though I'm drilling where there's no pickguard, I can see the remnants of where the original holes were. So that's what I'm doing now. That's a lot of holes. Alright, so like I said earlier, I'm going to have to flip this thing over because I need to put those switch holes in the other side of the template so that when I make the template, you'll see. Also, I need to finish drilling holes because I've only drilled about half of the holes. So I'm peeling off the double-sided sticky tape. Isn't this exciting? Luckily, I'm really good at it. It's a brand new roll of double stick tape. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to prepare the template for, I'm going to take it over to the pin router and I'm going to cut out some guides for those 4 switches. And now I can align it with all those holes that I drilled in previously, and that made it a lot easier. And then we're going to go back over to the drill press and drill more holes. I've never drilled more holes in a pickguard than this one. And because it's a Japanese guitar, none of the holes are like the standard size, like output jack and switch and pots aren't the same. So here I am at the pin router. I've got an 1/8 inch pin. The template, the original pickguard's on the bottom, and I'm cutting guides in my template on the back so that when I do the real pickguard, they will go on the front of the pickguard. They don't have to be deep. They just have to be deep enough for the pin to follow it. I think I kicked the camera there. Apparently I figured it out because I'm getting a lot faster now. That looked scary, but it wasn't. The whole time I'm doing this, Matt is shoving a truss rod template at me that he's routing truss rods in a bunch of necks at the same time that I'm doing this. So now the original pickguard is pulled off. I think we're pretty much finished with it at this point. It survived the ordeal, but now what I have to do is I have to clean up all the spots that are missing. You can see all the missing spots. And what I'm doing now is I'm just drawing some rough guidelines in to kind of help me when I take it over to the sander. And I set the camera up on these things and I start shooting, and then I realize, man, I'm blocking most of the footage with my hairy arm. So here we are at the oscillating sander, and I'm just going to clean up all those areas that didn't have pickguard material for us to route. Oh, looks like I'm getting better at it. Oh man, I'm really good now. But you can see it's actually starting to look like the original shape it should look like. And now I'm just sort of cleaning it up a little bit. There's some little bumps and stuff like that here and there. So I'm cleaning those up by hand. And there you go. How to make a template. So after all that, now we finally get to start making the actual pickguard. So the first step is to trace it out, and then I'll take it over to the bandsaw and trim it out. And then I'll just sort of do all the same steps that I did making the template, only using the template and plastic. So they wanted kind of a parchment 3-ply pickguard. That seemed to look the best with this guitar. It originally had sort of a pearlescent kind of plastic, but can't find that, and this seemed to suit the shape or the look of the guitar the best. So that's what we went with. So here's our double-sided sticky tape again. I like to cut little strips, and once again I go all along the edge, and that's because when I put the 45-degree bevel on it, I don't want the pickguard to come up at all. If it comes up, or if it's up a little bit, you end up with these weird wavy sections that look really bad. So I take a few extra minutes and put a lot of little pieces of tape all along the edge. It just seems to work better for me that way. And I dare anybody to do this step with masking tape and super glue. I don't think you can do it. I think you'd end up gluing your plastic to your template. Missed a couple of them. All right, now we're ready. Oh, now this here is where those 4 switches are, and I don't want that piece of plastic to come flying out as I cut it. So I ran a strip of tape down that will hold those pieces in place once they're cut all the way through. So we're back at the router table. The first thing we're going to do is just flush trim the plastic all the way around the pickguard. It's a 1/2-inch bearing bit, and I use it exclusively for plastic. Now here's the 45-degree bevel, and this pickguard, the original pickguard, had the bevel even in the neck pocket, which is sort of unique. But because most other guitars don't, I'm still in the habit of starting at the edge of the neck pocket, but I'm going to go all the way through the neck pocket with this 45, and I want to hold it down to the table really well, and that's why my hands are like right on top of the cutter. Is because you want to make sure that you don't bounce it off the table or something like that. And that's it. Oh, there was some plastic on the pick guard, and it got stuck on the table, so I had to peel some of that off.
Damn it.
It's starting to look like a pick guard. So here we are. Now I've got those switches, those switch templates in the back of the template, and I'm just making sure that I know where I am. And I'm going to do this in a couple of passes, just because, and I only have to do the outside. I don't have to do the whole thing because I have that tape there to hold those little squares, those little rectangles in place. And I can actually see that I'm starting to cut into my template there. I can see wood, so I know I've gone deep enough. And one down, only 3 more to go. If you don't have a pin router, you could do this with a smaller router bit on the table router, and then maybe just use a file for the corners. That works pretty well. But since we have the pin router, I might as well use the pin router. So what I'm doing there in the middle is I'm raising the armature up, and then I'm lowering it down right there. And that one's done. And we got one more. The bad thing about making pick guards is plastic ends up everywhere, including your car at the end of the day. And there you go, 4 switch holes. And now guess what time it is? It's time for more drilling. And I think I saved you all some time on this one. I don't think I show every hole in excruciating detail. Man, I'm really good at it though, aren't I? Maybe I did show every hole. Yep, I did. Every single hole. Well, that wasn't too bad. Now Matt's asking me what the heck's up with this goofy looking pick guard, because it doesn't have any pickup holes in it. I'm having to explain, well, I think they're surface mounted, Matt. I think he says, well, that seems kind of dumb. I have to peel off all the tape. Not quite sure why I felt the need to keep some of this in here, but, you know, it is what it is. So, I actually prefer to do the bevels for the screws like this, because I can go really, really slow and get them nice, and I can actually control the depth a little bit better because my finger's there telling me how deep I am. So it looks like a hack move, but I don't know that it is. Also, I want you to notice the bottle of Perfect Ass in the background. Giving it a final buff, softens some of the edges, takes away any little minor scratches. And here it is all finished. There's the old pick guard. There's the new pick guard. Fits perfectly, just like I knew it would. So I want to thank everybody for watching this video, and we'll see you next time.